Some of the best Star Wars stories and characters have all come from the many different Star Wars animated series released over the past 20 years, with some even claiming that Star Wars animation is Star Wars storytelling at its best, myself included. This seems all the more true when you think about just how much the animated series have gone on to enhance the films, provide introductions, and lay the groundwork for so many of the stories and characters currently leading Star Wars into the future. So, with Star Wars Celebration in less than a week and the Lucasfilm Animation 20th Anniversary panel teasing a sneak peek at what's to come, I want to talk about what I believe is next for the future of Star Wars animation. It's been 84 years, or at least it feels like it, since the series finale of The Bad Batch in May 2024, and in that time, Lucasfilm and Disney have been completely silent about the future of Star Wars animation. Between Dave Filoni's shift to live-action storytelling and promotion to Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm, the closing of Lucasfilm Singapore VFW and Animation Studio in 2023, and the increasing number of live-action Star Wars series on Disney Plus has left the future of Star Wars animation as a huge unknown. Star Wars has had an animated series running every year from 2008 up to 2024, so this year-long break and lack of news has a lot of fans desperate for something. Following the events of The Bad Batch Season 3, interviews with the series executive producers Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rau, along with the connected storytelling Star Wars has been weaving across recent media, it seems like there are a few logical places Star Wars animation could go from here, so let's break them down together. Like the Clone Wars Season 7 before, The Bad Batch Season 3 set up the potential for a sequel series either following Rex's clone rebellion, or what I believe is the more likely option, a series involving Asajj Ventress. The return of Asajj Ventress in Season 3 of The Bad Batch came as a huge surprise to the fandom, as the character hadn't been seen on screen since 2013 and was presumed dead following the events of the 2015 canon novel Dark Disciple. StarWars.com even addressed her shocking return in an article about the Bad Batch Season 3 trailer, with a quote from Brad Rau saying, "We love Asajj Ventress. She's a character that we've been wanting to tell more stories about. We don't want to spoil anything, but want fans to know that any new storytelling with Ventress will align with the events of Star Wars Dark Disciple." The continuation of Ventress' story was also teased in an article following her Bad Batch episode, with Jennifer Corbett explaining that she, Dave Filoni, and Brad Rau had several discussions about Dark Disciple and how Ventress' story could continue, stating that how Ventress survived will be revealed in future content. But where is that future content? Disney is really into yellow lightsabers and Night Sisters lately, but something else we've seen pop up in a lot of recent Star Wars stories is the hidden path. And I believe Asajj Ventress is the key to tying it all together, leading an animated Star Wars anthology series about the hidden path. For those who don't know, the Hidden Path is the secret underground network that worked to shelter Jedi and other Force sensitives from the Empire through hidden locations across the galaxy. The path was first introduced in the 2022 Obi-Wan Kenobi series, playing a larger role in episodes 3 through 6, but played an even bigger role a year later in the game Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Throughout the Hidden Path's safe houses shown in the Kenobi series, the walls were covered in carvings left by travelers, so of course the hardcore Star Wars fans had to try and decode the Arabesh to see what possible hints or Easter eggs they might uncover. Surprisingly, both Jedi Masters Seer Junda and Eno Cordova from the Star Wars Jedi games' names were among the carvings, at the time unsuspectingly teasing their involvement with the path, which we would learn about a year later when Star Wars Jedi Survivor dropped. But one particular Jedi Survivor got a name drop in the series by Obi-Wan Kenobi himself.
Quinlan was here.
Quinlan Vos. In the series, Tala Dureth tells Obi-Wan that Quinlan helps the Hidden Path from time to time, not only confirming Quinlan Vos's involvement, but his survival 10 years after the events of Order 66. So at this point, you might be asking, what exactly does Asajj Ventress have to do with the Hidden Path? And the answer is Quinlan Vos. For those who aren't familiar with the story of Dark Disciple, Quinlan Vos and Ventress team up to assassinate Count Dooku at the behest of the Jedi High Council, but end up falling in love along the way, with Ventress sacrificing herself to save Vos from Count Dooku's deadly Force lightning attack. So it would make sense that her and Vos would meet again after she was brought back to life, especially after learning about the Great Jedi Purge. Ventress also has a huge soft spot for children ripped away from their families against their will, especially Force sensitives, because of how much it relates to her own childhood trauma and the continued abandonment she experienced throughout her life up until the events of the Dark Disciple novel. We saw the beginnings of her character shift in the Clone Wars Season 4 episode Bounty, and then again at the end of the Clone Wars Season 5, where she helps Ahsoka Tano after being framed for the bombing of the Jedi Temple. We saw her empathy and selflessness overtake her many times throughout Dark Disciple, and even now most recently with Omega in the Bad Batch Season 3. So at this point in her life, there's no way I can see Ventress sitting back and doing nothing to help the Force-sensitive children of the galaxy from being hunted down and ripped away from their families for the Empire. Plus, with a little convincing from Voss, who we know is actively working with the Hidden Path, there's no way Ventress could say no, even if she only agrees begrudgingly at first. The Bad Batch Season 3 showed us that the Empire is working with Class 1 bounty hunters to obtain high M-count targets to be used as a part of Project Necromancer, a project Ventress is somewhat aware of, and I believe she's actually using the intel from the Empire's bounties to locate their targets and get them into hiding, possibly with the help of the Hidden Path before the Empire can get to them. Jennifer Corbett has already confirmed that we will learn how Ventress survived after her fatal sacrifice in Dark Disciple in future content, and because we know that Nika Futterman is back to play the character, it's extremely likely, if not proven, that Ventress' story will continue to be told in animation. But in order to explain how Ventress survived, Star Wars will have to explain how she died to begin with for fans who haven't read the Dark Disciple novel, and this is something I've been begging for ever since I finished the book for the first time. I definitely think it's a lot more likely now than ever before that we could see events from Dark Disciple on screen, but I imagine that if we do, it would come as a highlight reel or vision for Asajj at the beginning of the series, shortly before we're shown how she was brought back to life. Think Book of Boba Fett back to Tank Vision, but instead it's Asajj drifting through an ethereal Night Sister afterlife or purgatory before suddenly awakening and emerging from one of Dathomir's black pools. I could see them showing other never-before glimpses into Asajj's past, including events from the book throughout the series as well. But regardless of how they do it, we need to see Ventress and Voss on screen together in an animated Star Wars project at some point. There's no question. On top of bringing in characters like Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Voss, an animated anthology series about the Hidden Path could also involve Omega and the other Force-sensitive children kept in the vault on Mount Tantus, and even more well-known characters such as Cal Kestis, Marin, or even Barriss Offee, especially after her arc in Tales of the Empire. A series about the Path would also give Lucasfilm the chance to flesh out lesser-known characters such as Tala Durith, Colin Roken, Haja Eshtri, Jedi Master Seer Junda, Jedi Master Eno Cordova, another Jedi Master teased in the Kenobi series, Ram Koda from the Force Unleashed video games, and even Reva depending on the timeline the show would take place. A series about the Hidden Path could also include clones, allowing for Rex's clone rebellion to play a part in the series as well. The involvement of the clones in a series about the Path could tackle similar themes to the Rebels Season 2 episode The Lost Commanders, helping the clones rewrite the wrongs of Order 66 by assisting in the preservation of the Jedi and the future of Force sensitives across the galaxy. Hell, Dave Filoni could even bring Ahsoka in for an episode or two. And with the return of Barriss Offee and her redemption seen in Tales of the Empire, I just really want to see her, Ahsoka, and Ventress all healed from their traumas, working together to make the galaxy a better place, and an anthology series about the Hidden Path seems like the perfect place to do it. A series about Asajj Ventress and the Hidden Path also has a great group of villains already set up as well between the Bounty Hunters and Inquisitorius, which would also allow for the series to show how the Empire transitioned from using the Bounty Hunters and then moving to the Inquisitors for their high M-count targets. On top of fan-favorite Bounty Hunters like Cad Bane, Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand, this potential series could flesh out some lesser-known Bounty Hunters from the Clone Wars era, as well as those seen in the original trilogy. We also have plenty of Inquisitors to choose from across the various forms of Star Wars media, such as the live-action shows, animation, games, books, and comics. We all know Star Wars loves to include new or lesser-known trooper designs as well for each new series they put out, and this series would be the perfect opportunity to include the Purge Troopers and maybe even Royal Guards, two sects that we don't see nearly enough of in Star Wars on-screen media. And lastly, from a business standpoint, a show about the Hidden Path would make sense. Not only does Lucasfilm already have a lot of the assets, this animated series would cost way less than another live-action show, and it's also a low-risk, high-payoff idea. A series about the Hidden Path has the potential to be the ultimate Star Wars crossover between Star Wars animation with the Clone Wars, the Bad Batch, and Rebels, live-action with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and the Star Wars video games Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, as well as a chance just to bring in so many fan-favorite characters in an anthology series format. Bringing Ventress back was a big deal, and seeing how she survived, reuniting her with Quinlan Vos, and a potential future with the Hidden Path sounds like a pretty great Star Wars animated series to me. Of course, there's plenty of other Star Wars stories across the galaxy to tell, but I can't see Disney and Lucasfilm passing up the chance to combine so many beloved Star Wars stories and characters into one amazing series. And luckily, the Lucasfilm Animation 20th Anniversary panel at Celebration is expected to put all this speculation to rest and give us a glimpse at the future of Star Wars animation. So what series do you hope to see revealed at Celebration? A series about Ventress and the Hidden Path, a Clone Rebellion series, or something completely new? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on social media at ScottyHolidaySW, and as always, may the Force be with you.